Here comes chapter number 8 from the book The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, written by Robin Sharma. And the name of the chapter is Kindling Your Inner Fire. He started this chapter with the famous quote written by Foster C. McLean: "Trust yourself. Create the kind of life you will be happy to live with all your life. Make the most of yourself by fanning the tiny inner sparks of possibility into the flames of achievement." The day that Yogi Raman shared his mystical little fable with me, high atop the Himalayas, was actually quite similar to this day in many respects, said Julian. Really? Our meeting began in the evening and carried on well into the night. There was such a chemistry between the two of us that the air seemed to crackle with the electricity. As I mentioned to you earlier, from the first moment I met Raman, I felt as if he was the brother I never had. Tonight, sitting here with you and enjoying the look of the intrigue on your face, I feel the same energy and bond. I will also tell you that I have always thought of you as my little brother since we have become friends. To tell you the truth, I saw a lot of myself in you. You are an amazing litigator, Julian. I will never forget your effectiveness. It was obvious that he had no interest in exploring the museum of his past. John, I'd like to continue to share the elements of Yogi Raman's fable with you, but before I do this, I must confirm something. Already, you have learned a number of highly effective strategies for personal change, which will do wonders for you if you apply them consistently. I will open my heart to you tonight and reveal everything that I know, as it is my duty to do. I just want to make sure that you fully understand how important it is that you in turn pass this wisdom on all to those who are searching for such guidance. We are living in a very troubled world. Negativity pervades it, and many in our society are floating like ships without rudders, weary souls searching for a lighthouse that will keep them from crashing against the rocky shores. You must serve as a captain of sorts. I am placing my trust in you to take the message of the sages of the Shivana to all those who need it. After consideration, I promised Julian with conviction that I would accept this assignment. He then continued passionately: "The beauty of the whole exercise is that as you strive to improve the lives of others, your own life will be elevated into its highest dimensions. This truth is based on an ancient paradigm for extraordinary living. I am all ears." Basically, the sages of the Himalayas guided their lives by a simple rule: he who serves the most reaps the most, emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually. This is the way to inner peace and outer fulfillment. I once read that people who study others are wise, but those who study themselves are enlightened. Here, perhaps for the first time, I saw a man who truly knew himself, perhaps the highest self of him. In his austere clothing, with the half smile of a youthful Buddha gracing his supple face, Julian Mantle appeared to have it all: ideal health, happiness, and an overriding sense of his role in the kaleidoscope of universe. Yet he owned nothing. "That this brings me to the lighthouse," said Julian, remaining focused on the task at hand. "I was wondering how that fit into Yogi Raman's fable." "I'll try to explain," he responded, sounding more like a well schooled professor than a lawyer turned monk who had renounced the sensual world. "You have now learned that the mind is like a fertile garden, and for it to flourish, you must nurture it daily. Never let the weeds of your impure thought and action take the garden of your mind. Stand guard at the gateway of your mind. Keep it healthy and strong. It will work miracles in your life if you will only let it. You will recall that in the middle of the garden stood a magnificent lighthouse. The symbol, the, This symbol will remind you of yet another ancient principle of enlightened living. The purpose of life is a life of purpose. The purpose of your life is a life of purpose. Those who are truly enlightened know what they want out of life emotionally, materially, physically, and spiritually. Clearly defined priorities and goals for every aspect of your life will serve a role similar to that played by a lighthouse, offering you guidance and refuge when the seas become rough. You see, John, anyone can revolutionize their lives once they revolutionize the direction in which they are moving. But if you don't even know where you are going, how will you ever know when you get there? If you don't know where you are going, how will you know when you get your destination? Julian transported me back to the time when Yogi Raman examined this principle with him. He recalled the sage's exact words: "Life is funny. Life is funny," observed Yogi Raman. One would think that the less one worked, the more one would have the chance to experience happiness. However, the real source of happiness can be stated in a single word, which is nothing but achievement. Lasting happiness comes from steadily working to accomplish your goals and advancing confidently in the direction of your life's purpose. That this is the secret to kindling the inner fire that lurks within you. I do understand that it might seem more than a little ironic that you have traveled thousands of miles from your achievement oriented society to speak to a cluster of mystical sages living high in the Himalayas, only to learn that another eternal secret of happiness can be found in achievement. But it is true. Workaholic monks? I suggested playfully. Quite the opposite. While the sages were tremendously productive people, their productivity was not of the frenetic type. Instead, it was of the peaceful, focused, gen-like kind. How so? Everything they did had a purpose. Though they were removed from the modern world and lived a highly spiritual existence, they were also highly effective. Some spent their days polishing of philosophical treatises, others created fabulous, richly textured poems that challenged their intellect and renewed their creativity. Still, others passed their time in the silence of total contemplation, looking like illuminated statues seated in the ancient lotus pose. The sages of Shivana did not waste time. Their collective conscience told them that their lives had a purpose and they had a duty to fulfill. This is what Yogi Raman said to me. Here in Shivana, where time appears to stand still, you might wonder what a group of simple, possessionless sages would never need or hope to achieve. But achievement need not to be of the material sort. Personally, my objectives are to attain peace of mind, self mastery, and enlightenment. If I fail to accomplish these goals by the end of my life, I am certain that I will die feeling unfulfilled or dissatisfied. Julian Mantle told me that was the first time he had heard any of his teachers in Shivana speaking of their own mortality. And Yogi Raman sensed this in my expression. He said, "You know, you need not worry, my friend. I have already lived the past, the age of 100, and have no plans for a quick exit. My point is simply that when you clearly know that aims you wish to achieve over the course of your life, be they material, emotional, physical, or spiritual, and you spend your days accomplishing them, you will ultimately find eternal joy. Your life will be as delightful as mine, and you will come to know a splendid reality. But you must know your life's aim and then manifest this vision into reality by consistent action. We sages call this as a dharma, which is the Sanskrit word for the life's purpose. Lifelong contentment will come from the fulfillment of my dharma. I asked, lifelong contentment will come from the fulfillment of my dharma? I asked. Most certainly, from dharma springs inner harmony, and lasting satisfaction. Dharma is based upon the ancient principle that says every one of us has a heroic mission while we walk this earth. We all have been granted a unique set of gifts and talents that will readily allow us to realize this life work. The key is to discover them, and in doing so, discover the main objective of your life. I interrupted Julian. Is it? It's a sort of what you were saying earlier about risk taking? Maybe yes or maybe no. I do not follow. Yes, it may seem as though you are forced to take a few risks to discover what you are best at and the essence of your life's purpose. Many people quit jobs that have stifled their progress the moment they discover the true purpose of their existence. There is always the apparent risk that comes from with self-examination and soul searching. But no, because there is never a risk in discovering yourself and the mission of your life. Self-knowledge is the DNA of self-enlightenment. It is a very good, indeed essential thing. What is your dharma, Julian? What is your dharma, Julian? I asked casually, attempting to mask my burning curiosity. Mine is simple: to selflessly serve others, said by Julian. To selflessly serve others. Remember, you will not find true joy in sleeping, in relaxing, or in spending your time like an idler. As Benjamin Disraeli said that the secret of success is constancy of purpose. The secret of success is constancy of purpose. The happiness you are searching for comes through reflecting on the worthy aims you are dedicated to achieving and then taking action daily to advance them. This is a direct application of the timeless philosophy that prescribes that those things that are most important should never be sacrificed to those things that are the least important. The lighthouse in Yogi Raman's fable will always remind you the power of setting clearly defined, purposeful goals, and most importantly, of having the character power to act on them. Over the course of the next few hours, I learned from Julian that all highly developed, fully actualized people understand the importance of exploring their talents, uncovering their personal purpose, and then applying their human gifts in the direction of this calling. Some people selflessly serve humanity as physicians, others as artists. Some people discover that they are powerful communicators and become wonderful teachers, while others come to realize that their legacy will be in the form of innovations in the field of business or science. The key is to have the discipline and vision to see your heroic mission and to ensure that it serves other people while you realize it. Is this a form of goal setting? Goal setting is the starting point. Mapping out your objectives and your goals releases the creative juices that get you on the path of your purpose. Believe it or not, Yogi Raman and other sages were very hot on goals. You are kidding. Highly effective monks living deep in the Himalayan mountains who meditate all night and set goals all day. I love it. John always judged by results. Look at me. Sometimes I don't even recognize myself when I look into the mirror. My once unfulfilling existence has been replaced by one rich with adventure, mystery, and excitement. I am young again and enjoy vibrant health. I am truly happy. The wisdom I am sharing with you is so potent and so important and so life giving that you simply must say, stay open to it. I am Julian. I really am. Everything you have said makes perfect sense. Although some of the techniques do sound a little odd, but I have promised to them to try them and I will do them. I agree that this information is powerful. If I have seen further than these others, it is simply because I have stood on the shoulders of the great teachers, replied Julian with humility. Here is another example. Yogi Raman was an expert archer, a true master. To illustrate his philosophy on the importance of setting clearly defined objectives is in every aspect of one's life and fulfilling one's mission, he offered a demo I will never forget. He offered a demo I'll never forget. Near where we are sitting, there was a magnificent oak tree. The sage pulled one of the roses from the garland he habitually wore and placed it on the center of the trunk. He then pulled three objects from the large knapsack that was his constant companion whenever he ventured to distant mountain climbs, such as the one we are visiting. The first object was his favorite bow, made of a wonderfully fragrant yet sturdy sandalwood. The second item was an arrow. The third object was a lily white handkerchief, the kind I used to wear in the pocket of my extensive suits to impress judges and juries. Julian added apologetically. Yogi Raman then said Julian to put the handkerchief over his eyes as a blindfold. How far away from the rose am I? Yogi Raman asked his people. 100 feet, Julian guessed. Have you ever observed me in my daily practice of this ancient sport of archery? The sage queried, in full knowledge of the response that would come. I have seen you strike the bull's eye from a mark almost 300 feet away, and I cannot recall a time that you have ever missed at your current distance. Julian noted dutifully. Then, with his eyes covered by the cloth and his feet placed securely in the earth, the teacher drew the bow with all his energy and released the arrow, aiming directly at the rose hanging from the tree. The arrow struck at the large oak with a thud, missing its mark by an embarrassingly large distance. I thought you were going to display more of your magical abilities, Yogi Raman. What happened? We have traveled to this isolated place for one reason only. I have agreed to reveal all my worldly wisdom to you. Today's demo is meant to reinforce my advice on the importance of setting clearly defined objectives in your life and knowing precisely where you are going. What you just saw confirms the most important principle for anyone seeking to attain their goals and to fulfill their life's purpose. You will never be able to hit a target that you cannot see. This is the lesson, beautiful lesson. You can take it down on the notes. You will never be able to hit a target that you cannot see. People spend their whole lives dreaming of becoming happier, living with more vitality, and having an abundance of passion. Yet they do not see the importance of taking even 10 minutes a month to write out their goals and to think deeply about the meaning of their lives. Their dharma, goal setting will make your life magnificent. Your world will become richer, more delightful, and more magical. You see, Julian, our ancestors have taught us that setting clearly defined objectives for what we desire in our material, physical, and spiritual world is critical to their realization. In the world you came from, people set financial and material goals. There is nothing wrong with this. If this is what you value, however, to attain self mastery and inner enlightenment, you must set concrete objectives in other areas as well. Would it surprise you to know that I have clearly defined objectives with respect to the peace of mind I desire, the energy I bring to each day, and the love that I offer to all those around me? Goal setting is not just for distinguished lawyers such as yourself who reside in a world full of material attractions. Anyone who wishes to improve the quality of their inner as well as their outer world would do well to take out a piece of paper and start writing out their life aims. At the very moment that this is done, natural forces will come into the play that start to transform these dreams into reality. What I was hearing fascinated me. When I was a football player in high school, my coach had constantly spoken of the importance of knowing what we wanted from every game. Know your outcome. This is the one lesson his coach was given to him. Know your outcome was his personal creed, and our team would not dream of stepping onto the playing field without a clear game plan that would lead us to victory. I wondered why, as I had grown older, I had never taken the time to develop a game plan for my own life. Maybe Julian and Yogi Raman had something here. What is so special about taking out a sheet of paper and writing out your goals? How could such a simple act, such a difference, make such a difference? I asked. Julian was delighted. Your obvious interest inspire me. John, enthusiasm is one of the key ingredients for a lifetime of successful living. And I am glad to see that you still have every ounce of yours. Earlier, I taught you that each think about 60,000 thoughts on an average day. By writing out your desires and goals on a piece of paper, you send a red flag to your subconscious mind that these thoughts are far more important than the remaining 59,999 other ones. Your mind will then start to seek out all opportunities to realize your destiny like a guided missile. It is really a very scientific process. Most of us are simply not aware of it. A few of my partners are big on goal setting. Come to think of it, they are the most financially successful people I know, but I don't think they are the most balanced, I observe. Perhaps they are not setting the right goals. You see, John, life pretty much gives you what you ask from it. Life pretty much gives you what you ask from it. Most people want to feel better, have more energy, or live with greater satisfaction. Yes, when you ask them to tell you precisely what is it they want, they have no answer. You change your life the moment you set your goals. You change your life the moment that you set your goals and start to seek your dharma. Julian said, his eyes sparkling with the truths of his words. Have you ever met someone with a strange name and then started to notice that the name appearing everywhere in newspaper, on the television, or at the office? Are you or have you ever become interested in a new subject, let us say fly fishing, and then notice that you could not go anywhere without hearing about the wonders of fly fishing? This is but one illustration of the ageless principle Yogi Raman called Joriki, which I have since learned from means concentrated mind. Concentrate every ounce of your mental energy on self discovery. Learn what you excel at and what makes you happy. Maybe you are practicing law, but are really meant to be a school teacher. Given your practice and love of teaching, perhaps you are a frustrated painter or sculptor, whatever it is, find your passion and then follow it. Now that I really think about it, it would be sad to reach the end of my life without realizing that I had some special genius that world have unlocked my potential and helped others, even in a small way. That's right. So from the moment onwards, be acutely aware of your aim in life. Awaken your mind to the abundance of the possibility around you. Start to live with more zest. The human mind is the world's largest filtering device. When used properly, it filters out when you perceive as unimportant and gives you only the information you are looking for at that time. At this very moment, as we sit here in your living room, there are hundreds of there are hundreds, if not thousands, of things going on that we are not paying any attention to. There is the sound of lovers giggling as they stroll along the boardwalk, the goldfish in the tank behind you, the cool air being blown from the air conditioner, and even the beat of my own heartbeat. The moment I decide to concentrate on my heartbeat, the moment I concentrate on heartbeat, I start to notice its rhythm and its qualities. Similarly, when you decide to start concentrating your mind on your life's main aims, your mind starts to filter out the unimportant and focus only on the important. To tell you the truth, I think it's about time I discovered my purpose. I said, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of great things in my life, but it isn't as rewarding as I think it could be. If I left this world today, I really cannot say for sure that I have made that much big a difference. How does that make you feel? Depressed. I offered with total honesty. I know I have talent. Actually, I was once heck of a good artist when I was younger. That was until legal profession beckoned with the promise of a more stable life. Do you ever wish you had made painting your profession? I really haven't given it too much thought for that. But I will say one thing. When I painted, I was in heaven. Is it really fired you up, didn't it? Absolutely. I lost track of time when I was in the studio painting. I would get lost in the canvas. It was a release, it was a real release for me. It was almost as if I transcended my time and moved into another dimension. John, this is the power of concentrating your mind on a pursuit that you love. Goethe said that we are shaped and we are shaped and fashioned by what we love. Maybe your dharma is to brighten the world with lovely scenes. At least start spending a little time painting every day. How about applying this philosophy to the less esoteric than changing my life? I asked with a grin. This should be good, Julian. Julian replied, like what? Let us say one of my aims, although a mirror one, was to drop the spare time I am carrying around my waist. Where should I start? Don't be embarrassed. Your mastery, your master the art of goal setting and the goal getting. Written by starting off small. The journey of 1,000 miles begin with a of single step. So I asked intuitively, precisely, and getting good at accomplishing little facts prepare you for realizing the big ones. So to answer your question squarely, there is nothing wrong with mapping out of a full range of smaller goals in the process of planning your bigger ones. Thank you so much. See you in the part 2 of the book reading challenge, chapter 8, the Sharma written book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Thank you. See you again in the another chapter.